take your expectations off of like how God answers your prayers, right? Because you'll be praying for something, and if it's a part of God's will for your life, he's going to answer it, right, on his timing. But nonetheless, he's going to answer it. But sometimes it's going to show up in a way that you did not expect, right? Sometimes it's going to show up in a way where it's still a blessing, but it needs some work to it. So y'all know I got this car recently, okay? The Lord had opened the door for me. I kid you not, and I told y'all when I made the video about it, I was like, I surrendered it to God. I asked for confirmation. I prayed on it because I didn't want to make that move unless God was with me, okay? I did not want to go ahead of him, or anything like that. But God opened the door for me. He gave me the confirmation. He gave me the peace about it, okay? So I went ahead and got the car. Little did I know, okay, that there was going to be some issues with the car that was going to need to be fixed, right? So I had to come out of pocket even more, and I'm still not 100% sure really if it's done like that, but I know I've gotten two pretty big things fixed on it already. And I remember thinking one day, like when all of this started happening, I was like, you know what? I was like, why is this happening to me? Like, God opened this door up for me to get this car. Like, why am I having all these problems? It just didn't make much sense to me. And something God had to help me realize is just because it came from me doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Just because it came from me doesn't mean there's not going to be some work that needs to be done. And he started correlating it to my freaking marriage promise, bro. Like, when God, that's why I tell y'all, and I told y'all, especially when it comes to marriage, you have to take your expectations off of how you think it's going to happen, when you think it's going to happen, and what it's going to look like, right? Because I think a lot of people, and this might be the case of how God does it for them, but a lot of people, it's different, right? So I think a lot of people, when the restoration happens, you expect like your person to be like completely different, like they're a 100% new creation in Christ, right? And in some cases it will be like that, but in some cases it's not. Like, God will restore you guys back together even though there's clearly some work that needs to be done to it. And that's how God was trying to teach me about it when it came to my car, right? Because I was talking about, I was like, Lord, like, I knew, because it's older, it's a 2008, y'all, okay? So I know that there's going to be some type of mechanical things that have to be done just because of its age, but I was talking to the Lord, I'm like, Lord, like, this don't make no sense. Maybe I heard you wrong. And he was like, no. He was like, just because it's coming with some issues that you have to get fixed doesn't mean it wasn't a blessing for me. And God's also teaching me to steward his blessings well, right? To take care of the problem instead of ignoring it or pushing it off to the side out of fear because I don't want to spend the money. Not that I really have the money to be spending on it like that, just to be honest with you guys, but God is also teaching me to trust him. Right? Because he's Jehovah Jireh. You know what I'm saying? He's a provider. God knew that when he blessed me with this car, he also knew the things that I was going to have to fix on it, right? So he's going to provide in some way, shape, or form. I know he is, right? But that's what he's teaching me. But he was also teaching me that just because it looks like not a blessing doesn't mean that it's not a blessing. So he's teaching me to trust him, but also he's teaching me to, steward my blessings well, right? Like I said, like, don't abandon it just because it's not looking like what you thought it was going to look like. And that's a whole word within itself, especially when it comes to this marriage promise, y'all, because I know a lot of people want to walk away because of what it looks like, but God's not done. It's still in repair mode, right? Just like my car, it's drivable. I don't want you guys to think that I'm out here stranded and my car's not working. My car works, it drives, it's fine like that. But it's just some things that have to be fixed, or else it'll be like a bigger problem later. I'll say that. But nonetheless, it's like these marriages, God is building them. He's rebuilding them, right? Like, he's fixing things that, like, issues like the mechanical issues in my car, he's fixing things in your relationship so that it'll be up to safety standards, right? So it'll be up to godly standards. But Satan will come in and have you all types of confused. Like, he had me confused for a little bit because I'm like, bro, if this was a blessing from God, because I literally went to God about the car. Like, I just didn't understand. I'm like, Lord, like, what the freak is going on, But Satan will get in my head and be like, oh, this isn't a blessing. You didn't hear God because look, now you got to go spend all this money. But again, y'all, this is just my personal, testimony takeaway from it, even though the testimony isn't finished yet. But it's just what I know God is teaching me. He's teaching me to trust him despite what my physical situation looks like, despite the fact that I'm having to come out of pocket to fix my car, even though that's not very comfortable to be in. Y'all know my story, but God is teaching me to trust him. Yes, I blessed you with this car. Yes, this car is still a blessing, but we got to get it. We got to do some repair work on it. And he said, just like I'm doing in your marriage, right? Just because it looks like it's not a blessing doesn't mean that it's not. But Satan will have you out here thinking that it's not a blessing. Satan will have you out here cursing your freaking blessing, bro. Just like with this marriage promise, y'all, and I talk about it so much because there's so much truth to it, bro. This marriage journey is more than just the marriage. It's a ministry. Marriage is a ministry. There's a lot of work that has to be done within you, within your partner, what have you. And when restoration does happen, however God orchestrates it, whenever he decides to do it, don't expect it to just be like rainbows and freaking butterflies, because sometimes there's some work that has to be done. Sometimes you have to get up underneath that hood and figure out what's going on and repair it, and God is going to provide along the way. He's going to give you insight into how to address things in your marriage, and he's going to, help you understand where Satan is trying to attack it, and so on and so forth. Like, it's just so much to it, but don't abandon it just because it's not operating like you want it to. Don't abandon it because you realize there's more work that has to go into it before it's in really ready condition. And when God does bless you in whatever ways that he does, right, whether it be with a car or a home or whatever, if you run into issues along the way, don't let that make you feel like this isn't a blessing no more. Just look at it like this could be an attack. Like, Satan could just be trying to attack my blessing. This could be like God, like, trying to teach me something within this, right? That's one thing I want you guys to focus on too, is don't look at your situation like, woe is me. Look at it like, Lord, what are you teaching me? What do you want me to learn in this situation? What are you pruning from me? Just because you run into some hiccups on your walk with God does not mean that you are outside of his will. Okay, this walk with God is not easy. The promises that we stand for of things that he's spoken to us is not easy, right? But it's still a blessing from God. God is still going to do exactly what he said he's going to do, and he's with you the whole entire time.